Good evening and welcome. This is News 360 from the home of news here in Adisanwe. I am Isa Moni.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Let's get into the headlines for this evening.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by...
In the headlines, Sarah Dubaki Pobi confirmed Adan East District Chief Executive in an election marred by violence.
Also, President Akufo-Addo advocates affordable electricity.
In other headlines, APAS Ghana, a reproductive health advocacy NGO, asks government to scale up access to safe abortion care and comprehensive contraceptive services.
Ahead in business this evening, Ghana Revenue Authority to roll out digital tax platform to strengthen the tax mobilization efforts.
In international news, a controversial bill amending Kenya's election law, which makes it more difficult for the Supreme Court to annul elections, has come into effect.
We've got the details of these stories for you here on News 360, including the latest from the world of sports and entertainment. And you can watch us live on 3news.com as well as TV3 Ghana on Facebook. Let's start off with our very first story this evening, as IPAS Ghana Youth Advisory Board, an NGO spearheading improved reproductive health services, is calling on governments to increase access to safe abortion care and comprehensive contraceptive services. The group is worried of the increasing number of women dying from unsafe abortion. Unsafe abortion accounted for 15% of maternal deaths in Ghana.
Statistics available to the Ghana Health Service indicates that 9,612 cases of unsafe abortion were recorded last year. Unsafe abortion cases in the Bonahafo region increased from 1,661 in 2015 to 1,224 last year. 31 teenage pregnancy-related deaths were also recorded during the period. IPAS insists such deaths could be avoided if women have access to family planning and comprehensive abortion care services.
More young people are having sex in Ghana, and we should also know that more young people are getting pregnant in Ghana, and more young people also find their own ways and means of doing away with unwanted pregnancies. Can there be a way that the government can put measures in place so that the young people can be given information to make a choice in case the person needs an abortion service?
At a media engagement on ending unsafe abortion, the group called on government to take a second look at the high cost of comprehensive abortion care services.
In Ghana, we have the comprehensive abortion care services, which should cater for some of these emergencies. In case you need the service, you can have access to the service. But you get to the government facility, the cost involved is pushing more young people away. You get to the facility, they charge so much. And even the stigma in the society is also pushing more young people to the facilities. And then you see them rather entering into where they are not supposed to go.
Unsafe abortion is still a major cause of deaths, especially among young women. A member of the IPAS board, Samuel Ni Lamte, appealed to young people to become advocates to ensure an end to unsafe abortion.
To educate one another and ourselves on the importance of safe abortion rights and access. Oppose unauthorized people who take advantage of the stigma in the system to have unsafe abortion services for young people.
Goal 3 of the Sustainable Development Goals encourages healthy lives and promoting of well-being by 2030.
And the other news tonight, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, has cast doubts on World Bank's latest ease of doing business rankings. Ghana ranked 120th, down from the 108th position last year, placing 12th in sub-Saharan Africa.
In the World Bank report, Ghana dropped by 12 basis points from 108 to the 120th position. The World Bank cited factors such as increase in the cost of doing business, energy challenges, and difficulties to register businesses. The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union (ICU) is of the view the World Bank report should not be taken serious.
Cutting of the nurses' allowances, the teachers, and all those things is an intervention that is helping this economy. So the bold decision of the current government to say, no, I'm going back to it. Okay, you realize that in the closing of the campaign, you know, the NDC has to change the strategy and say, we are also going to restore it back. Because you say you couldn't do it. So for the IMF and the World Bank, well, they are very technical, and their results have never actually brought us any joy.
The ICU argued that government currently has rolled out numerous interventions, such as paperless spot transactions, from which more than 9 million cedis had been accrued as at September.
So it isn't that the Ghanaian economy have run into shambles and we don't have the future of attracting investors. Look at the rising buildings we are seeing all around. That tells you that the confidence of the economy has gone out of our border posts and people are still coming in. And I believe we'll see it in the next few years.
In another development, the ICU lauded government's decision to reduce corporate tax from 25% to 20%.
In other news, Sarah Dubaki-Pobi has been confirmed the Ada East District Chief Executive after securing 27 out of 36 votes cast in an election marred by violence. Confusion rocked her fourth attempt at securing the position following a brawl between assembly members and pro-MPP vigilante group Invisible Forces.
Security was tight ahead of the elections. Pro-MPP vigilante group Invisible Forces were also within the vicinity. A divisional chief of the Lomobiawe clan also had a pep talk.
You are intimidating us. Why? Are we in a state of war? Why? Why should you do this, madam? We want to do what is good for us. We have asked them to represent us. Therefore, you cannot come from Accra and intimidate us.
Voting commenced with all 36 assembly members present to cast their ballot. After the voting, an assembly member wanted to understand why the counting of the ballot was to be done after 2 minutes as directed by the Electoral Commission. A brawl ensued with the Invisible Forces. The confusion lasted close to an hour, leaving many casualties. The police took over the ballot box and hauled the presiding member and 2 assembly members out of the center. After an hour, counting resumed, but under heavy security. Sarah Dubaki-Pobi secured 27 out of 36 votes cast.
7 members voted no. 28 members voted yes. Representing 77.78% of the vote.
I give them the full assurance that we are going to work as a team to make Ada East move forward.
Sarah becomes the first woman to be confirmed Ada East District Chief Executive. She joins a Member of Parliament for the area, Comfort Doyogansa, and the District Coordinating Director, also a female.
Right, you're on News 360, and Emmanuel Kutin is the Chief Executive Officer, Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism, ACSC. Emmanuel, good evening, and thank you for agreeing to speak on our network.
Thank you for having me.
Right, Emmanuel, and the issue tonight is about this party vigilantism and the trouble that seems to be coming up. I mean, it is just becoming one too many since MPP came into power. Has the government, for that matter, the security services, lost control over party vigilantism?
Well, thank you and good evening to your very cherished viewers. As always, you captured it right. The incidents has become one too many. And to me, it has taken a national proportion, an epidemic of a national proportion. What worries me is that the president gives directives, And if you look at the NPP constitution, the president becomes the leader of the party, and party functionaries will not follow suit. So you realize that at the end of the day, we are exposing Ghana and making mockery of our own democracy. And what we just witnessed has both security and political implications for the country. What are the security implications? It means that Ghana today, the rule of law is no more applicable. Vigilante groups can enter anywhere, depending on which side of the political divide you belong to, and get an outcome they desire. I feel that MPP as a political party doesn't come from this type of tradition, and it is high time the leadership of government step out to keep this thing once and for all. And you see, I was reading today, and I even spoke on TV, 3FM, about the task force the government put up to curb these menace. I think the partisan nature the task force was constituted is also helping the matter. It should have a national outlook. I'm not sure it's only MPP as a party that have political hooligans. I will not use vigilante because they are not enforcing the laws. They are breaking the laws. And I feel that if care is not taken, Ghana as a country is not safe. We can all read from history. If you look at northern Nigeria, we have Boko Haram issue today. They started at vigilante groups, and they spiral out of hand as we are having in the country today. So I feel that the president must move beyond giving orders and make people suffer for their inefficiencies in their positions. Clearly, you could see policemen looking on, fully armed, and yet no action was taken. So right. I'm not sure the IGP is in charge of this situation.
Yeah, so indeed it is alarming. So, but why do you think that the police has not been able to effect any arrest of these political hooligans, as you choose to call them?
Like I've always said, our systems are not properly structured to give police the independence they actually need to act. Probably they are afraid of political victimization. That's why I'm saying that the president must move away from the rhetoric of giving orders to making people suffer for their inaction. He has given orders that, look, lawbreakers must be apprehended. Why is the IGP not giving orders to his commanders to act? In this instance, how will you blame the president? We have policemen who were fully armed in the presence of the Mali, and their duty was to maintain law and order. What prevented the police from doing what they are being paid with our taxpayers' money to do? I think the commander at Ada need to be seriously investigated, and that should trickle down to the IGP. I think that when serious measures of this nature are taken and people begin to lose their jobs, others within the other regions will begin to act well. But moving forward, my brother, I am appealing to the government of Nana Akufo-Addo. They should look at this issue from a nationalistic point of view. I have no doubt in the capabilities of Dr. Amin Anda, who is leading the task force. He's a very skillful negotiator. But this is not an MPP issue. It's a national issue. If it were the MPP issue, it should have trickled down within the political arena, where taxpayers' money will not be used to embark on this exercise. As far as taxpayers' monies are involved, it should take a very non-partisan nature, involve other political parties, civil society organizations, and experts. But if you look at the task force, it's just political appointees within the Nana Akufo-Addo that makes up the task force, and I think that is not good moving forward.
Right. We are grateful. Emmanuel Kutin is the Chief Executive Officer of Africa Center for Security and also Counter-Terrorism, ACSC, and we've been discussing political vigilantes, but he says he chooses to call them political hooligans because of the violent nature of their attacks. You're watching News 360, and we'll be back with more stories.
News 360 Skype interview is brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go.
On to the power sector now. President Akufo-Addo is confident the integration of the West African electricity market is crucial to the economic development of member countries. Speaking at the 12th West African Power Pool General Assembly here in Accra, the president said the success of the project will boost investment across the sub-region.
The West African Power Pool is aimed at promoting and developing power generation and transmission infrastructure and coordinate power exchange among ECOWAS members. It is also to integrate the national power systems into a unified regional electricity market with the goal of providing regular, reliable and affordable energy to citizenry of member countries.
The power systems of 9 out of the 14 mainland countries of ECOWAS are integrated. It is expected that by 2019, all the 14 mainland countries would have been interconnected to enable trading commence on the regional electricity market.
The executive board chairman of WAP, Mohammed Usman Gor, called on governments in the sub-region to unify their policies on energy to enhance the project. President Akufo-Addo said an effective integration of the project will enhance economic development.
It is through regional cooperation and integration of the regional electricity network, through power pooling and cross-border interconnection, that the benefits of electricity can be made available to a broad majority of citizens of West Africa. The availability and use of electricity will greatly influence how rapidly West African countries are able to increase their agricultural and industrial productivity, provide safe drinking water, achieve rapid economic development, and employ information and communications technology to become increasingly integrated into the global marketplace.
The president called for political will among member countries to enhance the integration agenda of ECOWAS.
Our problem over the years, I suggest, has been leadership. We need leadership that is focused on the region and not on individual countries. The European Union took off because the political will to make it work was there. Once the political will is evident, we can then work together to make out of ECOWAS a true regional community and market.
It is expected that deliberation at the General Assembly would come up with plans to achieve electricity market integration in West Africa.
We're still live here on News 360 from the News Hub at Adisa Kanda. We've got the latest of business news for you with Nanekyo Mensah-Brampa in a few moments' time. Stay with us.
All right, so we're wrapping it up for the business week. Good evening and thanks for staying with us on News 360. Let's do some business now. My name is Nanekyo Mensah-Brampa. The Ghana Revenue Authority is rolling out a digital tax platform to strengthen the tax collection efforts by identifying and addressing inherent gaps that allows tax evasion. Now, the platform, a partnership between GRA and ASEP with support from DFID, is geared towards mobilizing more revenue and strengthening demand for accountability.
Many Ghanaians are engaged in income-earning activities. Only about 1.2 million people are registered for tax purposes. Out of this, about 1 million people are in the formal sector and about 200,000 in the informal sector. The Open Ghana Tax Platform is also designed to promote active citizenship by providing opportunity for citizens to share experiences on practices that drive the state of tax revenue. The chief executive of ASEP is confident the platform will help rake in more revenue for national development.
The reality today in our country is that we are demanding more than we are contributing. And that is why it is important that we conscientize ourselves that if we need the schools, we need the roads, we need the buildings, then we have to pay to ensure that that happens.
Citizens have the option to provide free information on tax evasion or seek reward upon successful claim of evaded sums by the GRA.
There's this facility within the GRA in which people who volunteer and give us information, investigations are conducted, and if revenue is collected, they have a reward system in place that will ensure that those who volunteer these informations are well rewarded.
The platform will subsequently provide information to citizens on how government revenue is utilized to promote accountability.
And Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says the single-spine salary structure will not be scrapped. He was speaking on the sidelines of the inauguration of a tax committee for the oil and gas sector.
Policy think tank Imani has stated the principle behind the single-spine salary structure, for which all workers of the same qualification should be paid equally, is inappropriate and misplaced. The policy think tank has therefore proposed a gradual phasing out of the policy rather than a one-time scrapping of it. Other individuals and organizations also hold the view it should be scrapped because it is crippling the economy. But the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, does not share that view.
No, we are not looking at that, but we are putting together a task force to look at the whole revenue regime because that is creeping up in terms of the percentage of revenues that we have. If 650,000 people taking off of 35% of all of our revenues is something that you have to examine.
He, however, called for a national conversation on the issue.
It's not necessarily a living wage, so you're not thinking of any way of reducing that. But how do you create productivity so that people can earn more? And how do you rationalize it so that raises are properly done? People just don't, drop into the system to be employed. Efficiency is about that. And so that honest dialogue, I think, will start.
The single-spine salary structure was implemented in 2010 to rationalize payment of public service workers.
The Minister of Business Development, Awal Mohammed, has underscored the need for Ghanaian businesses to incorporate evidence-based research and compliance in their operations. He was speaking at the Noble International Business School Executive Doctoral Research Conference 2017 in Accra.
The conference was to deliberate on evidence-based research which contributes to business growth and competitiveness. The Minister of Business Development, Awal Mohammed, identified lack of ethics, integrity and evidence-based research as factors undermining business growth in the country.
We are dealing with research institutions. We are working with them together to give us the evidence and the facts. So as we grow, we want to add value by processing and ensuring that our farmers have the good prices, our products have good markets, so Ghana becomes globally competitive.
The president of Noble International Business School, Professor Kweku Etuahene Jima, stressed that poor decision-making militates against business growth.
To be able to predict that if I do this, this would happen. If I do that, that will happen. But if you don't do that and you say, okay, 20 years ago or 5 years ago or yesterday I did this and this happened, so I'm going to do the same thing, not knowing that the environment has changed. And so you do the same thing and you go down the drain. So that's why research is so important.
The maiden edition of the research conference was on the theme, applying evidence-based research to effective management.
And a 5-member delegation from Philadelphia of the United States of America have met former Accra Metropolitan Chief Executive Alfredo Kovandepoy to dialogue on rebuilding the city of Accra. The partnership is also intended to facilitate investments in the capital.
Metropolitan Chief Alfred Okovandapoy mentioned 7 critical areas including sanitation and waste management, modernization of education, health services delivery, and other social facilities such as water that needed urgent attention.
They are leadership of the organization seeking to draw investment to Africa as Ghana the gateway. Drawing investment means creating business, creating jobs, creating the environment in which our country can turn around and do what is right for our people.
The 3-day dialogue session is expected to brainstorm on projects to transform Accra. The 5-member delegation, led by Dr. Jesse Tyson, made assurances of plans to support the restructuring of the city.
We knew some of the things that were needed locally, and our goal is to make sure that we can bring individuals when we come back in February who have interest in those areas to help address that need.
Right, and the city's stability to that of the US dollar continues unwavering, still remaining stable there on the Forex markets. Well, definitely some changes there when it comes to the peso. That is 35 pesos in the past 2 days, but we're seeing it today at 4 Ghana cedis, 37 pesos for the buying price, as well as when it's being sold to you there on the interbank market. But for the cedi to that of the Great British pound, it has seen some depreciation there now. Being bought at 5 Ghana cedis, 79 pesos, and also being sold to you at 5 Ghana cedis, 80 pesos. And for the cedi to the euro is also depreciated a bit there in terms of the pesos there for that on the interbank market. But remember, these prices differ from one bank to the other, and when you visit the Forex market, it's a bit on the high. So it is being bought at 5 Ghana cedis and sold to you also at 5 Ghana cedis with a little change. Maybe you get it at 10 pesos there when you go to the bank, or maybe more when you visit the Forex market. But that's it for the currencies and the Forex there. And that wraps it up for business tonight. My name is Nanekia Mensah Brampa. We have sports next when we return. Good evening.
In a statement this evening, the 4th edition of the annual Jazz Festival kicked off with performances by renowned saxophonist Alfred Albright. The 3-day event is expected to attract more than 4,000 local and foreign jazz lovers to the capital.
Renowned saxophonist Gerald Albright and high life legend Aka Blay treated the audience to different tunes on the first day of the annual Jazz Festival. The 3-day event, which will come to a close on Saturday, November 4, is intended to give Ghanaians a different twist from the regular Afrobeat, hip life, and traditional music. There will be performances from other musicians, including Tom Braxton, world-renowned saxophonist Steve Beddy, and Stephanie Benson. Communications manager at Stanbic Bank, Kojo Labi, said the organization chose jazz over other music genres because it is versatile and accepted worldwide. He said the serenity and relaxation that accompanies jazz music is in line with the vision of Stanbic Bank, hence the decision.
If you look at the field of music, jazz is the highest form or the most rarefied form. So if we make the people of Ghana happy, that would surely include our customers. Good music, world-class services, and a good time for the people of Ghana, most probably and notably our customers.
That other music genres will be considered based on demand.
In more entertainment news tonight, she has been off the screen for some time. Royal Storm actress Juliet Ibrahim says her acting career has been more profitable outside of Ghana. She's been speaking with Ajwa Amufose.
You need to practice lunatic. That's the same Asante song. Everyone
Green goddess Juliet Ibrahim has been making money moves elsewhere outside the boundaries of Ghana. The Glow ambassador, who has been out of the country for most parts of 2017, says she has been more useful in Nigeria, hence her attachments to the Nigerian film industry. She said due to the dead state of the Ghana movie industry, she had to find herself a new home where demand was high.
Outside, the demand for me as an actor has always been the same, is increasing by the day. There's been, blockbuster movies, there's been, A-list film festival movies that have been featured in. But in Ghana, because we're not doing so many big movies now, things have been a bit slow. But I also produce, so my movies has also taken me on major platforms as well.
She said she is open to contracts, no matter where the job takes her, adding that the impact of her work is what matters. She stated that the job requirement does not stop her from being a good mother to her 1-year-old son, Jaden, though they do not live together.
I'm moving on, my bags are packed, I'm out the door, no more the tea, don't know what you have until you...
For Juliet, awards are necessary to the career of every entertainer, as they help to determine society's opinion of you. She said such recognition urges you to push harder.
In your career span, you need to be able to receive awards in order to understand that you're doing something that's making a difference in society and people are appreciating it, you're being recognized. So, receiving awards adds to your credibility, adds to your prestige and everything.
The 35-year-old 30 Days in Atlanta star said she was working on a soon-to-be-aired TV series and hinted of a new music single which features her Nigerian rapper boyfriend, Iceberg Slim.
Interesting. We're still live here on News 360. And remember, we've been bringing you excerpts of TV3's 20 by 20 in commemoration of our 20th anniversary. And tomorrow at 1 p.m., we'll have the full version with Professor Emmanuel Asante, who's the chairman of the National Peace Council. Here are excerpts of the program.
Asante, let's get into your life now. Of course, we know, a few things about you, but tell us, growing up, what are some of the fond memories that you have?
I wouldn't know much about the economy of the time because I was still young to understand the nitty-gritties of the economy. Okay. But for me, those were memories. I mean, we were enjoying Ghana, freedom. We were enjoying free education at the primary levels, and new schools were being built all over the place, and it was a joy to say that you were a Ghanaian. I was a member of the Young Pioneer movement at the time, and I belonged to. We were taught African personality, belonged to the cultural group, and it was just sheer joy. Now we are under constitutional dispensation. There's the liberalization of the airwaves. And sometimes when I hear people talking, the kinds of things that they can go on air and talk, when we were growing up, you dared not. You couldn't do that. When Nkrumah was in power, 1 o'clock, everybody would be tuned to their radio. 1 o'clock. That was where ministers would be dismissed and all sorts of things could happen. Now we are talking about the rule of law. We're talking about constitution. So in a sense, we're not doing that bad with the Fourth Republic. We still have not arrived. I mean, we shouldn't think that we have, because we have not arrived yet.
When you say we've not arrived, what do you mean?
We have not arrived yet in the sense that we still have impunity in the system. I mean, when vigilantism continues to be there, where people show people where power lies, where people are not going by the rules of the law and order sometimes breaks down, and people think that they are above everything. We have not yet arrived. Misunderstanding, misrepresentation, okay, if you are doing the work that I and my colleagues have been assigned to do, that's the eminent members of the National Peace Council and Regional Peace Councils, ours is not to play partisan politics. Even if you have love for a particular political party, you are not in there to promote the interest of a political party, but to promote the interest of Ghana. And so there may be occasions where you have to speak against certain things that your own political party might even be, the political party that you are sympathetic with might be doing. But how does the Ghanaian see it? If it is against my party, then he belongs to this party. If it is against this side, then he belongs here. I have been insulted. People have said all sorts of things. They have given me money, and it's incredible. And yet what people do not know is that the chairman of the National Peace Council is not paid. It's not a paid job. Okay? And all the members of the National Peace Councils are not paid. We're supposed to be given allowance. But I tell you that I cannot live on the basis of that allowance. The petrol that I will even put into my own car, and the car that I'm riding in is my car, given to me by my church, the Methodist Church, Ghana. I'm not using any government vehicle for anything. I work with my hands. I'm a minister of the gospel. I teach, I lecture, I write books to make a living. Okay? Yet, you hear people, somebody who doesn't know you from Adam, and young ones, he has not met you, saying all sorts of things. I don't get worried, because I've been blessed are you when men shall revile and say all sorts of things against you. They did that to the Lord. I'm not worried. But I'm raising this issue because I think it's an opportunity for people to understand. I have said it before, that if you do not know that the Lord has called you in this country, you might not even give yourself up to do it. There are some good people out there who do not want to get themselves involved in anything, simply because of the kinds of things people will say.
All right, so Prof, as we move into our next years, as we move ahead into the next 20 years, what are your wishes for TV3?
Of professionals who have specialized in specific areas. A TV3 that will become like, if it's not going to the world, at least in Africa, will be a media house like the CNN, a media house that has correspondents all over the place that can bring us fresh news as it happens. News as it happens. A media house that we can rely on.
Certainly promises to be very insightful, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. And there will be more of that conversation.
Absolutely, tomorrow at
1 p.m. All right, and well, News as it happens is always on TV3, so we shall strive hard to bring that to your screens, to your homes and wherever you are. My name is Emmanuel. Thanks for watching News 360.
And I'm Natalie Fort. We've got more news on our website, 3news.com, and News at 10 will simulcast on 3FM 92.7. Next is Tashan. Have an incredible weekend.